Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello and welcome to Binary Brothers Podcast. I am one of the two hosts, Clay, and with me as always is Ryan.
That's me. I'm the other host.
Yes, you are. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Well, it couldn't be any other way. I would have to take you to court.
Could you?
No, not at all.
I mean,
you've called me.
Called your bluff. Yes, I win this time.
That was
so good at this whole lawyer thing.
Probably the fastest. You're a lot better than some other lawyers that have been in the news recently.
And I never even passed the bar exam. Well, I have, just not the lawyer kind.
Well, yeah.
And speaking of which,
a lot of us here in this fine state have passed the bar exam you're speaking of.
Yes, speaking of which, that is exactly what this episode is all about.
A little bit of libations, some beers.
Some beers. We're going to talk about beers. We talked about food last time, and so might as well talk about beer or other drinks that you particularly enjoy. We'll talk about them on this episode.
Good pairings.
Yeah, for sure.
Food, drink, going a whole series.
Yeah. Gotta have a full balanced meal, you know? So this is episode 12, which ends our 2-episode streak of binary numbered episodes.
Yep, that was it.
I don't think we're gonna have another one until episode 100, so it's gonna be a while.
Buckle up.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a wild ride.
We'll try to get this over with as fast as possible, so we can get to that
12.
binary stuff. But
yeah, how you been, man? You been excited about anything?
I am pretty excited. I mean, I'm excited about this beer that I'm drinking.
I've got a fine scotch.
Ooh, that's a fancy kind of drink.
Yep. I don't know. I don't know when it happened, but at some point,
become a Scotch man.
I started drinking scotch, I guess.
Did you have a gateway drink to that?
Other than beer?
Other than beer, I guess. Some people go from like whiskey to scotch.
I guess
you
could say that whiskey definitely. I enjoy some Jack Daniels.
Okay.
So
I didn't know if there was something that you were like drinking and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try some scotch.
No. That's not really how it went down.
You had like a mixed drink or something. Now, do you have it? Do you mix your scotch or do you just have it on the rocks?
Oh, on the rocks. I've got literal whiskey stone.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't heathen, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. Not with a fine scotch.
No, absolutely not. Scotch.
What are you excited about other than your beer?
I'm pretty excited about the playoffs that are happening right now, the hockey playoffs. It's the reason why we're starting this an hour late.
Oh, yeah.
Than we were supposed to, because I'm an idiot. I got caught up in watching hockey.
Hey, there's worse things to get caught up in.
That's true. That is very, very true. And
entertaining?
Huh?
Entertaining match?
It was an entertaining match. Going to overtime. I'm recording this while it's in overtime. That's how much I enjoy doing these things.
That's how dedicated you
are.
Yeah,
we have the best listeners, and I got to make sure that, I provide for them.
We got to treat them right.
Yeah. So, you got to make sacrifices sometimes, and that's just the case right now for me. No regrets.
I'm sure listeners
no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
How the playoffs been going?
They're going. They're
exciting?
Going. Still, the Vegas, the expansion team is still in it. They're actually heading to the semifinals now, the conference finals. Nobody thought that was going to happen at the beginning of this season. So that's kind of fun.
Underdogs, man.
Yeah, real Cinderella story.
It's the old Philadelphia Eagles all over again.
Yeah, I guess. Were the Eagles an underdog? I mean they were to an extent, but
I don't know.
I can't remember what were they.
I feel like after they won the Super Bowl, which I guess everyone but the Patriots yells at a podium after they win the Super Bowl that they were the underdogs.
That guy was awesome. I forget his name, but that was a great speech.
He killed it. It was fantastic.
They weren't last seed. They were just, I don't think.
I don't think so either, but I feel like they weren't. No one expected it.
No, well, especially since the Eagles had never won a championship in their existence, and they were going up against the Patriots. That's where the kind of underdogs really took place.
Yeah.
But they were a great team for most of the season, and their starting quarterback gets injured, and then they kind of make an improbable run with a backup. So I guess that part is the underdog-ish story.
I'll take it.
Sure, why not? They got a ring for it.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Who cares if they were just top-seeded, bottom-seeded, whatever.
Yeah. Well, speaking of hockey, since we were just talking about it, I'm actually going to be going out of town to play it.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to become an international hockey player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I have an autograph?
Yeah, sure.
When you get back, I guess?
Sure, I guess. I'll try and get the game puck, and I'll flip it to you, kid,
Oh, man.
Sign it for you. You got to provide the pen, though.
Well, of course. I'm not naive. I know that you can't just carry a pen around with you.
Right, no.
The puck's already enough.
Yeah. But, yeah, going to Toronto this upcoming weekend. So that'll be fun.
Going for a tournament or what's going on?
Yeah, it's a hockey tournament, draft tournament. It'll be the third one that I do. The previous two were in Phoenix. So this one's a little bit colder climate. But that works for hockey, so it's all good.
It does work to the advantage of the hockey players to keep the rink nice and cool.
Yes.
Similar to curling, which I dabbled in for a while.
Yes. I've actually never curled. I hear it's fun.
It's fun.
I also enjoy watching it on the Olympics, so I can imagine how fun it would be.
Yeah, it's something you can. It's not like very hard to get into, and there's not like the barrier to entry is virtually none. You go. I remember when I went first time. I went to a curling club, and you just show up, and they've got little slippery. Like you can have your own shoes and whatnot, but they typically just have like a little slippery booty thing you put on the bottom of your shoe, and you're off to the races.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Just shove off and huck that rock on down the sheet ice.
Curl it, Sweep some lanes for it.
Hard.
So besides curling, what are you excited about?
Besides curling, which I'm always excited about.
Oh, who isn't always excited for curling?
Just a Ryan trivia fact there. Just always excited for curling. That'll always get you your points in bar league trivia.
Anytime someone mentions curling around Ryan, he just perks up.
Just absolutely lose it.
Yep.
Excited.
Did somebody say curling?
Other than that, I'm actually still a bit excited about something that I did recently. I'm still pretty stoked that I got to see Modest Mouse.
Yeah, Modest Mouse.
Yeah.
That brings me back to my high school days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. So that's about when I got into them. Everyone heard, the classic Float On.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was the song that made them big.
Yeah. So, and they had a bunch of stuff before that, and I went crazy when I first heard them and just got everything they made. And so I listened to a lot of that older, obscure stuff that people probably didn't really listen to if they got into them around like Float On. It's
Sure.
just there was some random, just the most random weird tracks. Like they're an odd band, but
I
yeah.
can't imagine.
Got to go see them at the rave, which was super cool.
Now, do you go on the floor at the rave, or do you go up high?
I always go balcony.
Always go balcony.
I'm a VIP.
That's what I hear is the place to be. I've actually never been to the rave, so
Yeah, there's actually, so it's like it's two chunks. So there's the rave, which is smaller and like off to the side, and then Eagles Ballroom is actually where it was.
Oh,
And
okay.
It's the bigger area, but they both have balconies because I went to go see Motion City Soundtrack at the rave, actually, so in the smaller spot. But Eagles Ballroom, bigger, still got balcony. But yeah, it was cool. It was just one of those things, like I guess I didn't even realize they were still like touring or making a lot of music. I don't remember when their last album came out. It was a few years back. So I saw the tickets and I'm like, oh, I should go see them.
why not?
Yeah, but it was cool. There were a lot more people on stage than I thought there would be. At some point there were like 4 guitars, a keyboardist, a guy playing a bass, and there were 2 drum sets, and then there was a guy in the corner who was doing something the whole time. He was
Just hanging out.
He was just playing random, just seemingly obscure instruments. It's I know no one can see me, but he had this thing, and he was just kind of lifting it up over his head and then back down in front of him a lot, but very slowly. So I don't know what instrument it was or what noise it was contributing, but I just thought that was funny. It was just cool.
Sometimes you just gotta fake it, you know? Fake it till you make it, right?
He was real into it though.
Yeah. I mean, if you act confident doing something, people are gonna believe you, you know?
That's why they can't get rid of him for the live touring.
You're like,
you
we
know?
don't know what he does in this band, but man, he looks good on stage.
God, he's really doing it.
He's doing the thing. He's putting us over the top.
So yeah, that was exciting. That was one of those cool things that, just like you said, like a band that I got into back in high school that I wasn't even sure was still making music, let alone touring, was excited to be able to see them. So that was dope.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of them for a very long time.
Yeah.
I am just as surprised as you are that they are still out there doing their thing.
They're doing it. I mean, I looked them up after the concert, and they're still, like, they're planning on another album. So they're currently working on something new. Yeah, their last album was 2015.
Oh, good for them.
Oh,
Good for them. Keep it going, you know?
Yeah, speaking of music,
Yes.
it's going to lead right into here.
Go on.
I'm sure you can guess what I've been jamming out to over the last week or so.
I think I do. It's definitely Franz Ferdinand.
It's definitely Franz Ferdinand. Exactly.
Got it. Knew it. So good. So good at this game.
Ferdy.
Here till Thursday.
I'm here
That's
till
when I'm
Thursday.
leaving. That's when I'm leaving for Toronto.
He's got to get out of here.
I gotta get out of here. Can't stay past then. It's gonna be too late. Won't make it in time.
Only a few more days.
It's a long drive.
You sign up for the tournament, you can't just show up.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't just. Have you looked at plane prices lately? I gotta drive.
Yeah. Ugh.
If you're gonna go to Toronto, it's like the most expensive airport to fly into.
Is it really?
Yeah, at least in Canada. It's just unreal.
Mm,
Well,
it's not ideal.
yeah. There are more expensive airports out there, but in Canada that is,
The most expensive?
yeah, it's not fun. Let's put it that way.
I mean, where else? I guess there's a
You got
hell of a lot of
Vancouver.
Canada
You
up
got
there.
Vancouver, and you got, yeah, places.
You got
No,
some other airports.
In terms of like, those two are kind of your main expensive cities in Canada. Obviously, you have Alberta with Calgary and Edmonton, Winnipeg and Manitoba, and then you have Quebec, the French province, with Montreal, and then Toronto is in Ontario. But Toronto's like straight east of where we are. You know, you always think of Canada being like up north, but Toronto's like
East?
Yeah, it's dead. Like Canada just kind of slips down on the east side of Michigan there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like
I've never looked at a map before.
Not a geography major, that's for sure.
My God, it is almost directly east.
Yeah. So like when I was up north living for 4 years, the past 4 years, even though I was still in the U.S., I was north of Toronto.
Yeah.
And then there's a town or a city kind of on the way to Toronto from Michigan, London. Whenever someone's
about to mention that.
Yeah, whenever somebody says London, I always have to ask, talking about Canada or over the big pond.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I applied for a job out of college with Chrysler.
Chrysler?
Oh yeah. And they part of the job description was like, yeah, you're gonna have to travel back and forth between Detroit and Canada. Someplace in Canada for them. I'm like, oh, neat.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure that would get wildly old.
Yeah. I mean, Detroit's basically right next to the border, but crossing the border all the time, or a good chunk of the time, I mean, it doesn't take forever to cross the border, but it's not like you're just driving straight through. It's not like you have an I-pass going through the Illinois tollways, you know?
Oh, sure.
But, and then if you're driving, you know, into Toronto, especially during the weekday rush hour, that's, good luck with that.
It's gotta be hell.
Yeah. Not fun.
Probably just as fun as driving anywhere near us right now. Just stupid.
Yeah.
I just like leave home to go to practice, and it's just construction the whole way.
Yeah. And if there's not construction, it's potholes, so you're like, well, thank you that there's no construction, but my car is basically dead now.
But could you please add some construction to
these
fix
parts?
These potholes?
I'd rather have construction here. At a certain point, you've reached enough, you reached a level of dealing with construction that more construction really doesn't faze you at all.
Yeah.
You're like, just bring it on. It's fine.
It's more weird when there's not a million orange barrels on your way to someplace.
So what have you been listening to then?
Modest Mouse.
Oh.
I just listened to it all. I just put
all of it.
All
you just
shuffle.
go straight through?
Like, here's Modest Mouse. Let me press the shuffle button, and this is just what will go into my ears for the next... I probably listened to them for 4 or 5 days straight.
Are you... See, I guess that was going to be a question I'd ask, is if you would hit the shuffle button, or you would just start at the beginning and just go all the way through,
Nah, shuffle. I've got... The way, like, Google Play Music arranges it...
The way my bank account
is set up...
I was just talking about that with a coworker today. We were just quoting that.
Yes.
We were out at lunch. And the guy, so we had 10 people out at lunch. Because we have like 2 people who are kind of leaving this week, so it's like kind of going away lunches. Mm-hmm. So we had 10 people out at lunch, and our waiter, this is just like a burger joint, our waiter's like, yeah, I can't split up the checks. Like none of us have cash. So one person decided to just take it, and we're gonna pay him back. But,
yeah.
So we started just quoting that. We're like, I'll see how my bank account's not, set up.
Yeah, checking.
It takes 3 days.
By then, it probably won't even be available. I don't know. But yeah, the way Google Play Music is set up when you go into your library, it was alphabetical.
Mm.
So I mean, I could have added
Gotcha.
stuff. I could have added stuff album by album to like a playlist queue,
Yeah.
but I was like, might as well just shuffle it.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. That makes sense. You got
Shuffle got the job done.
Yeah. I mean, I use Spotify and they have it kind of broken up by albums, so it's easier to do it that way. I mean, I certainly will do shuffle, but if I wanted to do just start at the beginning and just work your way through all the albums, you can certainly do that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Except when it gets to all the remastered and live albums, you're like,
Could we not?
can we just skip this?
Oh,
The deluxe demo albums,
I forgot.
about 20 demos of their songs.
In addition
Go on.
To Modest Mouse,
Yes.
when we got home from the concert, Childish Gambino had come out with a new song.
Oh, the good old Donald.
The old Donald Glover, the old Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, that guy.
He came out with a new song and a music video because he was hosting SNL over the weekend.
Makes
And-
sense from a marketing perspective.
Oh, sure. So he came out with it. Pretty interesting music video. There's obviously some commentary on. I mean, it's called "This Is America,"
Right.
and there's just commentary on a lot of different things going on right now. I don't know. It was just a very, very interesting video to watch. I guess I'd suggest watching it. But other than that, I mean, it's a solid song. I'm excited for him because he's saying like this is going to be the last Childish Gambino album because he thinks things are better when they have ends.
How many albums have they put out, or he put out? Is it a group? Is it a band, or is it just him?
It's just him.
Okay. As you
me-
frantically
Let me enhance.
use your mechanical keyboard.
I'm using the quieter one too for anyone who's wondering. That is the quiet version of the keyboards that I own.
Does that one have a numpad?
It doesn't. It's actually a 60% keyboard.
I don't know how you live with yourself.
I struggle. Like it doesn't even have arrows, and that's where it kills me. So it does have arrows, but I have to like function to get to a different
Oh
layer.
no.
Yep. So I don't use it when I code, but
I hope not.
because it's just too annoying. I can't do it.
Design over function.
Funny enough, he only has
Loudness over function.
3 actual albums. So,
Okay.
but he's got
Is this
he had a few mixtapes.
does this latest album count as that, or is this one not released yet? Or wait, what'd you?
Wait, which? Oh no, it was just a song.
Oh, okay, that's why I was wondering if he had actually released an album or he just released the song.
Nope, just one song, and then I think he performed another one, but I didn't actually listen to that one yet.
Oh, did he? So he hosted and was the musical guest.
Oh yeah, he hosted and performed.
He did it all.
He was Childish Gambino as the performer and Donald Glover as
Did he introduce himself as well?
I don't know, but that would be fantastic.
He just at the camera, he was like, "And now, Childish Gambino," just runs back to the stage.
Scurries back there as fast as he can. He's a comedian. I could see him doing something like that.
Millennium Falcon sounds in the background. 12 parsecs got to the stage.
That's really fast, and also a measure of distance.
I guess.
No, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, no, that's people. I don't know. It's one of those arguments. I think I've heard someone make before that it's a measure of distance and not a measure of speed or time. But I read something somewhere that explained that the reason why that was impressive, even though it was a distance, was because the actual full distance of the Kessel Run is like 14 parsecs or something. So he I don't know, found some loophole.
He jumped space or something.
Yeah, he did something to cut literal distance off of the route, which I'll say is damn impressive.
Yeah. All right, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, now that we've nerded out.
Oh, we're not done.
We're not done at all.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Chingy and the Gunners.
Yep.
That was a song. Keeping it rolling with the music.
All right.
What have you been listening to?
What have I been? What haven't I been listening to?
It'd be quicker to list all of the albums you haven't been listening to ever in existence.
You're right. Totally. So, all right. We have a couple year podcast episode going on here.
We're never going to get to episode 100.
Nope, not at this rate. What have I been listening to? I have been listening to... What have I been listening to? It's just been a mixture. It's just been a mixture of stuff, really, lately. Just
basically all the things.
I have a playlist set up on Spotify called Feel Good. And it's just a mixture of songs that gets me in a good mood. So I tend to listen to that from time to time, and I've been pretty much listening to that. Although I'll have to say, getting ready for this episode, since we're talking so much about beer in this episode,
so many beers,
I had to get ready for this with some real big fish.
Okay.
Think I'll have myself a beer. So that's actually kind of what I've been listening to. Get in this mood.
I mean, you gotta have your solid, your go-to. Is that like one of your go-to playlists?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of compliments for it too. Like I've shared it with people, and they're like, "This is some good stuff." I don't want to toot my own horn, but pretty good at picking good songs.
Nice.
Now it's I would say it's mostly. I think it would be mostly like alternative punk stuff with a little bit of hip hop and classic rock kind of mixed in, but it's good. It's good stuff.
A man of many tastes.
Yeah. I feel good when I play it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So
I think if you do feel good every time you play it, you've really reached your goal, right?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Really, it picks me up, and it's actually going to be the playlist I'll probably listen to while driving to Toronto.
How long of a drive is that?
It's a 9-hour drive, I think.
That's not too shabby.
But I think I'm going to, with stops and everything, it'll probably end up being probably 10-ish. I'm not really in a hurry to get there, or Thursday I don't actually have anything planned, so it's not like I have to get there by a certain time.
Yeah.
So
it's not the Cannonball Run or anything?
No. So I don't have to rush it. I'm not going to be Russian, just American, and then Canadian.
Don't forget your passport.
Oh, I got my passport.
Oh.
But yeah, that would suck if I forgot it.
Do you know that some countries won't let you leave if your passport expires within a certain amount of time from your departure? Your passport could be valid, but they wouldn't let you leave or re-enter just because you might not be able to get back.
I might have heard that. I'm not I can't remember how much leeway there is on that though. Yeah.
I just remember one time someone saying to me, you have to make sure your passport is nowhere near expiring sometimes. For you, it's a different story because you're not taking a plane on a 20-hour flight.
Right.
To go somewhere, you just hopping across border.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my passport expires in August, I believe. So it's kind of getting close to that, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Try not to get detained in Toronto for
that would be ideal.
Months.
Not to do. If I do, would you come pick me up?
Yeah, I'll swing on by. I'll
Yeah,
retrofit
just
some
on your
sort
way
of
home from work, you know.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Just a casual. Honey, they rearranged the roads, so
I took the
I had
scenic
to.
route.
It took an extra 25 hours to get home. I don't know what happened.
I'll tell you what,
They're
it was a
doing,
fantastic time, though.
doing so much construction.
Yes.
So let's talk about some beers.
Let's talk about some beers. You're not having one right now. You're having some scotch.
I'm having some scotch. I'm fresh out of beer.
Ooh, that's not good. That's not a good start to this beer talking part of this episode.
It's not. It's
Now,
not.
if you're going to, I assume you're going to replenish your beer reserves at some point in the near future.
Yes.
What are you planning on picking up to fill that void?
I think it's been a little while since I've had some, so I think I'm gonna go with some Fantasy Factory
Okay.
from Carbon 4. They're I think they're from Madison. While he Googles,
While he Googles with his loud keyboard.
yeah, they're from Madison. So yeah, Carbon 4 Brewing. They make a bunch of random good beers. I like their IPAs, which
Yeah.
is what Fantasy Factory is.
Good old
From,
hoppiness.
Yeah, that's another thing I picked up from other people. The Scotch and IPAs. Like, I was not into IPAs, and people were like, oh yeah, try all these IPAs.
What was your gateway drink into IPAs? Was it scotch?
No, it was whiskey.
Went from beer to whiskey to scotch to IPAs.
To IPAs, yes. That's exactly. That's
My
exactly
roadmap.
what it was. How did you know?
I'm a connoisseur.
But yeah, I especially love. I mean, other than it being like a really good IPA, at least in my opinion, I really love their the container for it. Like the packaging for Fantasy Factory is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
It's have you ever seen it?
Maybe I just don't. I don't remember. I don't remember it, so you're gonna have to explain it for both me and our listeners.
All right, so let me paint you a vivid picture
Oh, I'd love that.
of Carbon 4's Fantasy Factory marketing materials. So imagine just a field, kind of like a green field, video gamey, with a very pixelated rainbow going across the back. Underneath the rainbow sits a castle, very Mario-esque back there. So that's your whole backdrop, right?
Okay.
Kind of a field. Your main subject is a unicorn
In the foreground or the background?
in the foreground.
Foreground.
It's rearing up.
Ah,
It's blasting flames out of its nostrils.
this reminds me of that Adult Swim game.
Yes, robot unicorn
Yeah.
attack.
Yep.
Yes, maybe that's why I love it so much.
Probably it.
That's probably it. I had never put those two together. Wow.
For anyone who hasn't played that game, go play it. It's a
Go play
fantastic
it.
game. I
It's
think
amazing.
you can get it on your phone now, I believe.
I believe so. Yes,
I don't remember
And-
if it's free or if it costs money.
and I might get it now. Because now you've reminded
Now
me.
that you said that.
But yeah, this unicorn, flames coming out of its nostrils. It's clearly got Superman-like laser eyes because they're
Naturally.
glowing red.
Right.
It looks like it's got its horn is made out of kryptonite or something radioactive. And we're not finished yet
Okay.
because riding on the back of this unicorn is a cat, which is holding onto its mane with one hand. It's standing, holding onto its mane with one hand. It's got like Kung Fury, just like Kung Fu style headband, kind of flailing
Right.
in the wind, and it's holding a golden desert eagle in its other hand.
That's intense.
That's the cover, right there.
Yeah, I'd probably buy that if I saw it.
Oh,
I've always said that about wines too. Whenever I pass through the liquor section, I'm always that wine's got a yeah, that is a fancy picture there. I've always thought about wines. And I'm like, you know what? That one has a pretty cool label design. If I was a guy who enjoyed wines, which I am not.
Not a wine guy.
No, I'm not.
Me neither.
It's tough. Now, if it's a bachelor party and we have to start the night off with chugging,
a bag of wine.
No, not a bag. One of those jugs. Pass around a jug of wine. Then I'll help out. I'll drink it because, I want to help everyone out.
Right.
I want to get the party started. But I can't just drink it by myself. I can't just drink it. It's not something I enjoy drinking.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sat down or gone in the kitchen or ridden a motorcycle and thought to myself, I could really go for a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
And I don't really own any good wine glasses. I don't feel buying any, so,
What even makes a good wine glass? I feel like
Target, I assume?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like a glass, for most purposes, for me at least, a glass is a glass. You could give me a plastic Solo cup or the fanciest glass you have. If it holds liquid, I'm good.
But I feel like wine is different.
Is it, though?
I feel like wine is one of those just sophisticated drinks. It's just got that stigma to it that you have to drink it out of a proper glass.
Well, I guess the same could be said for scotches, your old scotches and
right.
whiskeys.
Yeah. Beer is not that case.
No, beer
comes in all shapes and sizes and forms.
Sometimes you even just stab a hole in the side of the can.
Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. What kind of beer are you drinking right now?
Right now, I just have just a standard Sam Adams Boston Lager.
A classic.
A quality beer. Usually during the hockey season, I'll be drinking your Canadian beers, your Molsons, your Labatt Blues. It's kind of my go-to for hockey, but Blackhawks aren't in it anymore, so I've kind of moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But
sad.
I do sometimes go to a local joint for lunch.
Okay.
Solely for the reason that they still have Oktoberfest beers.
Really?
Yes, and I'm a firm believer that if Oktoberfest was brewed year-round, we would have world peace by now.
World peace.
Yes. And I understand that this place in particular is brewing it year-round, but I'm talking about for the masses.
Right.
For everyone.
I can't go to the grocery store right now and get good Oktoberfest.
Right. Like, I was pumped, absolutely pumped. You should have seen my face a couple years ago when I strolled into a store. I needed to get some beer. It was July 31st, and on the shelf I see Oktoberfest with a light from heaven coming down on it. This is a true story.
You heard the music?
Yeah, I heard the hymns from the angels. Yep. Pretty sure they put that over the loudspeakers for me. And I was absolutely so pumped because it's just such a limited release time, right?
Yeah.
You get it for a few months, and then all of a sudden all the winter brews come out, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that the Oktoberfest season started July 31st for me. One of the best days of my life, really.
It had to have been one hell of a year.
It was a great year. It was so great I don't really remember most of it.
I'm sure the beer has nothing to do with it.
No, absolutely not. But what is your favorite? If you had to pick either a certain type of brew or a certain or just a certain particular make and model of beer, what would you choose?
I don't know, because it's hard. I'm not sure if there's a beer that I would want to drink just all the time. I think my easy go-to is like to just drink a Miller Lite.
Yeah, it's not just something light, right?
Yeah, something light, just,
Something watery.
Because I can't really, if depending on how many you're drinking or how many.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I guess. What about for more of like a casual beer?
Oh, you know what?
And by casual, I mean like you're not trying to set records.
I'm not Wade Boggs. I would have to go with Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cow, that's a good one. Quality one. Quality Wisconsin brewed.
Love Spotted Cow.
Beer.
Yeah. I could that one, just sit back, relax, have a nice Spotted Cow. That's that would probably be my go-to for a nice casual, not trying to do anything too fancy.
Yeah. Just
not
sitting down having a beer.
Not out here trying to break any records.
Beer with your food,
Food and beer. Yeah. What about you? What would be your?
Oh, I've already told you it's Oktoberfest for sure. That's it.
We've already established this.
Yeah. Oktoberfest is like I said, world peace.
That's where it's at.
And I got the feel good playlist going. I got world peace in my mind. It's all good.
Yeah, there's probably not any situation better than that, right? At least for you.
Not that I've found.
So you ever been to a restaurant and looked at a menu that had a beer pairing or a drink pairing with it?
Are you talking about like a drink with then like the food that you should get with it?
Yeah, like it's well, kind of the other way around, like looking in the menu.
Or you get there's a food and then next to it is the drink of choice for it.
Goes well with Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried doing those? Like just seeing...
I tried a Blue Moon. I had a Blue Moon today.
I've consumed a Blue Moon.
I don't know. I can't remember if I've been to a restaurant that's had that for beer. I know I've seen it with wines. Once again,
that's funny,
it doesn't work for me though.
I don't think I've ever been a place that had a menu that's had like a wine pairing. So that's interesting because I feel like I've gone to a bunch of places that have beer pairings.
And maybe I have.
They are kind of small and
Yeah.
italicized normally. They're secondary information.
And if I have, it's most likely the case that I've already ordered a beer and I'm not going to stray away from it.
Yeah.
I
always think that when they always want, take your drink order first.
Right, yeah.
And
because it's
I
easier.
decide what
quicker.
drink I want. And then I open up the menu and I'm looking at things. I'm like, I'll get this burger. It says pairs well with this thing. Well, it's too late for that, sir.
Or you find your beer on the list and you're like, I don't really like what they're offering.
I don't
like that food choice. It's a little too heavy right now for what I'm thinking.
Right now. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've wanted to, because I've thought to myself, someone at some point was hanging out, looking at this menu, potentially eating this food, and thinking to themselves, what beer would perfectly complement this meal? And I feel like that person's hard work has gone to waste if I don't try it at some point.
Yeah. I that never really goes through my head, but I can see how a sympathetic person could have that thought.
I mean, it's very fleeting. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh no.
But I'm over it.
I was really struggling there. No, I'm
just
all
breaking
right.
down at the table every time.
Have you ever gone on a brewery tour?
I have gone on a brewery tour. I've gone on 2 brewery tours. One was
It's actually I think more than I've been on. I think I've only
Really?
been on one. Yeah.
Which one did you go to?
Leinenkugels.
I went to Leinenkugels as well.
Problem is, when I went, I was not of age yet.
Ooh.
So I couldn't have, like, the free samples.
The samples?
Yeah. That was unfortunate.
When I went, I actually went for a computer science class.
That's when I did it.
Okay. Right. So we went because we had this professor, and
Great professor.
She is fantastic. We go to Chippewa Falls, I think is where
That's it. Yep.
where it is, right? So you go to Chippewa Falls, and the reason we go there, computer science class, is because Cree supercomputers, right?
Yep.
So we go,
and the Supercomputer Museum,
you go there.
the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Computer Hall of Fame. You go there, you tour supercomputer, manufacturer, you see all the stuff. Super cool, interesting. And then you get the museum part as well. When we went, we didn't have enough time. I don't remember what happened, but we didn't have enough time to do all three things. So we're leaving Cree, and she goes, well, we've only got time for one more thing. The brewery tour or the museum. And everyone's like, yeah, so we'll go to the brewery tour then.
Well, naturally. Right?
We go there, and it's just funny the whole time we're walking. We're just making excuses as to why this would be a thing that we would do for a computer science class. Pointing out random junk. Oh, I wonder what programming they're running to make this work.
If I had to put these vats of beer into a certain data type, what would it be? How would I organize this? The ingredients here.
So yeah, that was the first one I went to, and they had a bunch of samples. They actually had this beer that was it had like whiskey. No, it was Scotch. It was a Scotch ale. And it was...
So Leinenkugels was your gateway drug to Scotch.
You know what? Man, this is just a night of discoveries. You're just linking up all of the reasons why I like
This is why we play the game.
I like Fantasy Factory because of Robot Unicorn Attack, and I like Scotch now because of Leinenkugels Scotch Ale.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, it was funny because they give you the sample tokens or whatever, and they had a special one because it was like a limited edition thing, and so you could use that to get the Scotch Ale. And when they poured just the tiniest amount in the glass, and they said, you have to try it first because so many people don't like it that we end up wasting it because we pour a whole glass and nobody wants to drink it.
That's smart.
Very smart.
Although if a lot of people don't want to drink it, it's kind of a wonder why they keep brewing it.
Yeah. I to be honest, I don't think I've seen it since then, so maybe they learned.
Sure, yeah, maybe. Their user testing just did not go well enough. They had to pivot,
We made one vat of this.
It was one vat too many.
There was just that one guy that came on the tour that was like, yeah, sure, I'll have mine and this other person's. And that was me, and then they never made it again.
Well, we could keep making this because this guy really likes it. He might be a dedicated customer for this. He might just buy all of it.
But, yeah, that was an interesting one because it was...
Scotchy?
Well, the beer, but like the tour.
Oh.
Was interesting. It was bigger. It was actually bigger than the other tour I went on. And I found that semi-surprising because I felt like Leinenkugels wasn't that big of a place.
Right. Oh, what was the other one you went on?
I think it was Lakefront.
Oh, okay. You've been on. See, we go there. We go to Lakefront all the time because it's right. It's a couple blocks from work. But I've never actually done the tour there.
Yeah, they've got like the restaurant and
right. Yeah, we always go there for the restaurant bar but I've just never gone ahead and done the tour as well.
Yeah, did the tour, and it was it was pretty compact because I think
Yeah.
their building used to be something else, like something smaller, and when they bought it, like it was basically going to be condemned when they bought it, but they were like, "Can we have this building and maybe make some brews in here?"
Maybe make some beer.
So yeah,
You can only have this building if you make beers. Oh no! Whatever will we do?
our plan exactly. But yeah, that was cool. I haven't been on any ones other than that. I meant to, and it was interesting because I went to Colorado, and they have a bunch of breweries there.
Speaking of Blue Moon,
Yeah, but we did not go on one single brewery tour when we were in Colorado. So
that'll happen. There's a lot of other things to do in Colorado.
so many Colorado things. I did try new beers while I was there.
I mean, you have to, right? When you go to a different state or a different country, you gotta try the other beers.
Yeah.
Try some local brews.
You ever use Untapped?
I do not. I know people who do though, so that's a thing.
I am one of those people that you know that does.
Exactly.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Untapped is kind of like it's like a social network of like
Yeah,
beer.
probably.
I don't know because like I don't really interact with people. I've got like two friends on it, but they're just like the person that I'm pretty sure they're the two people that introduced me to Untapped. So,
Naturally.
but it's kind of just like Foursquare was, where you checked in and said like, I'm having this beer.
One of them, his name is Tom.
Tom is actually just your base friend on every single social media.
Man,
that
if I could have that guy's life,
so many
it'd be
friends.
pretty cool. So many friends. Sells his company at what, 500 billion or something like that.
Right. Doesn't have to deal with it
And it's just
anymore.
he's just off doing. I think he does photography now. He just travels the world and takes pictures.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
I know. I think someone tried to talk smack to him on Twitter or something once,
Yeah.
like trying to say how MySpace sucked or whatever, and he just comes back is like, I sold it for $500 billion and don't have to work anymore.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, he's living in Hawaii. And
Yeah.
he's a travel photographer.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And he takes awesome pictures.
yeah,
Oh, this guy did it right.
for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
Zuckerberg.
Just imagine all the different beers he possibly is drinking.
So many
What
all
is-
over the place.
He's probably beaten you in Untapped.
Well, I should be able to look that up really quickly because he's one of my two friends.
He's yeah, I'm friends with the number 1 ranked guy in Untapped. No big deal.
Oh,
That guy.
so many beers.
Yeah, so I mean, beer is good. Beer is fantastic.
Beer is good.
Obviously, I think we gotta throw this out there, but you gotta be smart about it, right?
Indeed.
Indeed
You do.
as with anything.
With everything, well, not everything, but anything that you are doing, do in moderation. So yeah, that and also the advent of the internet has made it just fantastically easy not to do something stupid like
That's
drink and
true.
drive.
Yep,
It's just amazing. Like
very true.
back, not that long ago, it's kind of like, take your car somewhere,
Right.
have some drinks, and then it's like you have to have that decision point. Whereas now it's just like pay an extra 10, 15, $20
Right.
for a night and get someone else to drive your drunk butt around.
Yeah. It's pretty, and especially if you do it with other, a group of people and you can just share that cost, right?
Yeah,
It's pretty easy.
snazzy.
Just makes sense.
The world just revolves around making drinking beer, just easier, more
really
enjoyable.
Does. It really does.
That's it. That's that sound right there.
Yep, that's we're getting played off. It's at the Oscars.
That's what they did.
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they did.
That's the music from the Oscars. It's not actual music. It's just...
I can't make any other notes though with it.
You're not an experienced.
I didn't get 5 different beers and drink them to various depths to create a beautiful song. I just have this one note.
Okay, well, I think the fans will be expecting that for the beginning or end of the next episode. For there to be a small section. I think my jam for next episode has to be the music that you've made with beer bottles.
The beer flute.
Yep. Just take 5 bottles and tape them together into a beer pan flute.
Nothing could go wrong with that.
Absolutely nothing.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.